Good afternoon. You're listening to Peace of Mind, the program where we talk about the many pieces of physical, intellectual, and emotional health and how they all fit together in very In this hour, we're going to be talking with Colleen Shackelford. She is a new nurse practitioner at Rocky Mountain Health and Wellness. Most of our longtime listeners know that Cynthia Culp generally joins us, but we're going to be having Colleen join us. She actually specializes in pediatrics and adolescents, and joining the staff down at Rocky Mountain Health and Wellness out there in Eagle, which is right next to the Idaho Athletic Center. So,
just regular old, plain soap and warm water. And they should at least wash their hands before eating, after using the restroom, and when they get home from school, and whenever, of course, they're visibly soiled as well. And then they can use the hand sanitizer when the soap and water is not available.
And that's why I really like the Fresh Protect lotion, because it doesn't dry your hands out.
Yeah, and really you should avoid the alcohol-based hand sanitizers, because those can cause extra drying, cracking, which can be another source of infection. Another thing you can do is to teach your children to cover their noses and mouths when they cough or sneeze. And although there's not always a tissue available, that would be the best choice. They can be taught how to cough or sneeze into their elbow, and that should be done instead of into their hands, because that can actually spread the infection as they touch other objects and desks and pencils and papers and things like that. So really sneezing or coughing into your elbow is the best, and then you keep the germs to yourself. Another good thing for a cough is straight old honey. Any kid over the age of 1 can use a tablespoon of honey, and you can mix it in a warm drink, or they can just take it straight, and that really helps with
that. This is KINF. I am your host, Brenda Harper, along with Colleen Shackelford. She is the nurse practitioner, the new nurse practitioner at Rocky Mountain Health and Wellness, and we are talking this afternoon about back to school and all the things that we can do to help kids and ourselves be healthy through that. What about sleep, Colleen? How important is sleep?
Oh, sleep is so important, and really you should be getting your kids back on their normal sleep schedule about a week or so prior to starting school. So sometime in the next couple of days, start having your kids go to bed a little bit earlier. I know it's hard with the summertime here in Idaho where it stays light until 9:30 at night, but we're really, getting your kids back on a good sleep hygiene schedule, going to bed at the same time every night, not watching a lot of TV before they go to bed, not reading any scary books, just having the same routine every night and trying to repeat that, through getting ready for school.
And I found that getting my kids up at the time that they're going to be getting up is helpful, because that way by the time it's bedtime they're a little more tired.
Yeah, I can imagine that would be especially helpful with teenagers as well.
Yeah, and it's interesting that teenagers actually, unfortunately, the way that we have our school system, teenagers would probably do better based on previous guests that we've had, sleep experts, talk about how sometimes sleep is, with adolescents, they would do better if you started in the school a bit later.
I agree. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen. But
for some reason, our school system just doesn't seem to get in tune with the biological.
Right. Sleep, during your sleep is when growth hormone is released. And so it's really important for children's growth that they get adequate sleep at night, because it helps them grow and stay healthy.
If you have any questions for our nurse practitioner, Colleen Shackelford, all you have to do is give us a call at 465-0730. So if you have any questions or concerns about your kids starting school, what are the things that you're worried about, give us a call, and we'll take those questions as well. So getting back to the vitamin D and C and omega-3s, what's the best source of omega-3?
So really the best source, you need to have both DHA and EPA as a supplement. And children can eat fish, which of course has a natural source of it, but you have to look for low mercury sources and limit those sources to about 2 ounces per week. So on the days that they're not eating fish, it's really great to supplement. Now, as you probably know, if you've taken omega-3s, those things are giant. So they're very very hard to swallow, so I would suggest using either a liquid form, which is available from many companies, or doing a chewy or gummy form. I know Nordic Naturals makes a gummy form of tangerine flavored, and then there's a gummy strawberry worm that's also pretty tasty, and that gives the adequate amount of DHA and EPA. And then ALA, which is another omega-3, which is a plant-based omega-3, most often referred to as flaxseed oil. You could take that as a supplement as well, but you can also find it in soybeans, walnuts, and pumpkin seeds.
Welcome back to Peace of Mind, the program where we talk about the many pieces of physical, intellectual, and emotional health and how they all fit together to help us find that elusive peace of mind. Today we're talking with nurse practitioner Colleen Shackelford. She is with Rocky Mountain Health and Wellness out in Eagle. It's right next to the Idaho Athletic Center. And we're talking about how to prepare kids to get back to school.
Bring them in to see their primary care provider or pediatrician and get them checked.
And, last winter my grandson had trouble. We ended up having to hospitalize him because he became dehydrated.
Yes.
When he became sick, and that happened so quickly.
Yes, it does.
With the fever, a fever can dehydrate a child quite quickly, and you're having trouble getting fluids into them. It's not that you're not trying.
Right.
So what do you have? What are some suggestions for getting fluids into kids?
Yeah, absolutely. So little sips over smaller amounts of time. So if they're watching TV because they're homesick, then every commercial break they need to be drinking a cup or two of water, or any real. When you're worried about dehydration, you really should think about any fluid that they'll drink. Popsicles are great for that reason too, because it's fluid, but it's a small amount, sweet tasting, and it tends to take longer to get in. If they have a stomach ache or feeling sick, then just doing a sip of water every 10 minutes can help prevent it.
Let's talk just for a second about what is a nurse practitioner, because a lot of folks don't know that nurse practitioners really can prescribe medication, consult with physicians, etc. But you really can prescribe. You can really do all sorts of general care.
Absolutely. We can do basic assessments and physical exams, but we can also do disease management along with that wellness piece. And actually, here in the state of Idaho, nurse practitioners are able to practice independently, and Rocky Mountain Health and Wellness is nurse practitioner owned and operated. They're with Cynthia Kolb and Cara DeLacy and me now, so I'm pretty excited about that. But it's just a really great practice. They're great mentors and great people, and I think nurse practitioners just tend to spend a little bit more time with the patient, especially in a nurse practitioner run office where that's really supported. We really spend a lot of time with you, and it's not just you're in and out in 10 minutes, but we're focused on really the whole person and have that really more global perspective on things that we want to look at. How's your social life, and how's your marriage doing, and how's your physical, emotional, mental health.
And that's why we wanted to incorporate the nurse practitioner in our program. That's why we had Cynthia come on board, is because really you look at that whole piece of physical, intellectual, and emotional, and how they really do fit together. And it's important, and that's really what functional medicine is about.
So first off, some of the things they might be allergic to in the classroom. Any pets that are in the classroom. Sometimes I know my mom, who's a second grade teacher, has a turtle in her room. But some pets in the classroom, hamsters, gerbils, those sorts of things. Chemicals in the room, like from the markers on the board to fragrances that the student next to them wears to the cleaner or detergent they use to clean the desks, is something that they could be sensitive to. Foods, obviously, that are either supplied through school lunches or, maybe they're sharing a snack with a friend or something like that. Those are some of the things that and then of course if your school unfortunately has mold or something like that, then, your child could be having a sensitivity to that as well. And if you're really concerned about your child, they might have runny nose, more allergic symptoms as far as, red eyes, runny nose, stomach ache, rashes, skin rashes, those sorts of things, more fatigue. And you can actually get your child tested for allergies, with a simple blood test. For smaller children, it's only a 2.5 cc or milliliter amount of blood, and then for older children, it's about 5 cc's of blood. And they can run a zillion things on that. And if you have specific questions about things they might be allergic to, environmental chemical, food allergies. We can test all of those things for them. So it's a really good thing, if you have concerns about your child being allergic to something, to get done. So, because really the best...
Dark circles.
Dark circles under their eyes too. Yeah, absolutely.
Dr. Rapp's book recently. Let's talk about bullying. What do you do?
Yeah, so I think it's a really good topic to bring up. Bullying is really when one child picks on another repeatedly, and it can be physical, verbal, or social, and it can happen really anywhere, at school, on the playground, on the bus, in the neighborhood, even on the internet. So it's really important when your child is being bullied to teach them how to stand up for themselves. Like you said, it's all about getting their power back. So, they need to look the bully in the eye, they need to stay calm, and then use some sort of I statement. I don't like what you're doing. I don't have time for this. Please don't talk to me like that. Because then it puts the power back on the bullied person. And then walk away. Of course, never run because they could chase you. And then tell an adult or someone you trust because it really needs to stop. Bullying is never okay. And I think an important thing to also teach your children is if your child is a bystander to bullying, then they need to be speaking out. Maybe not standing up to the bully themselves because, they don't want to get possibly physically harmed, but they need to be telling a teacher or the, duty, who's ever out in the playground if it's happening there, or their parents. If another child's being bullied. I think it's important that we teach our children to be advocates for one another and not just stand by and watch.
And life is a series of struggles, sprinkled with moments of joy, and he or she that gather those moments best enjoy the journey most. Have a great week, and we'll see you right back here next week on KINF.